What's up, LaChance Encounters fans? I'm not doing a traditional episode today. I think my shirt's disgusting. I'm gonna start over. What's up, LaChance Encounters fans? Kind of taking a break this week to spend some time with family. Much needed family time. Very important to me that I enjoy these years while my daughter is young, so I'm not doing a full episode, but I wanted to continually upload something. For those of you who aren't in real estate or sales or anything like that, this episode is probably going to suck for you. You might want to skip it. A lot of you have told me you skip the real estate episodes, and I get it. I completely. My TikTok For You page has no real estate on it by design. I have just refused to click real estate content on TikTok, so I have somewhere on the internet to go and not listen to things about real estate. So I'm with you. I get it. I back it. I support it. But those of you who are in real estate or sales or business or you want to be self-employed, this episode might have some value for you. First, wherever you're watching, listening, click like, click subscribe, click follow, leave a review, drop a comment, click the share button and send it to somebody who you think might be interested. It helps keep this thing going. I'm loving doing it. I've gotten great feedback. I've been able to actually help some people because of the podcast, which is amazing. So I want to keep it going, and I just really appreciate all the support. But this episode, today I was at an open house, and you know what? Wait just 1 second, guys. What was that, 3 seconds? I was at an open house, and a gentleman, and I already forgot his name. I think it might have been Mike. I could have been wrong. I should just not say it, but I don't know how well you can see that. It says Open House Survival Kit. It's from Granite State Inspection Services. Local home inspector stopped by, introduced himself. He gave me a little box with a bunch of information about his company and some candy, a bottle of water, basically just an excuse to stop by and meet me and possibly get some business down the road. And it got me thinking, I meet so many people who start in real estate or start their own business or mortgage or any sort of sales job, car sales, anything. And then a few months later, they're not doing that thing anymore. And they never made a sale. They never even reached their first goal. And it's really sad because I think most of these people probably could. Real estate especially, there are so many paths to victory. There's not one demographic in real estate. Everyone lives in a house. There's commercial real estate, there's multifamily, there's investors, there's flippers, there's, the poorest people on earth have to live somewhere. The richest people on earth have to live somewhere. There's all kinds of people, types of real estate, condos, mobile homes, single family, multifamily. I could go on and on, vacant land. There's so many niches to get into in real estate, but so many people just never find their niche. For me, it's been first-time home buyers. It's been blue-collar workers. It's a lot of low budgets. It's a lot of people that don't have a lot of money saved up. It's a lot of tough situations, to be honest. But I've been able to thrive with those tough situations, and it's been great. It's been honestly great to be able to work with people who are having a hard time. Sometimes I'm their second or third agent they've worked with, and we get the job done, and it's super rewarding. And I would have never gotten to that rewarding experience if I didn't know what to do. And I think so many people don't know what to do. And it's easy to find. But what I want to do right now is give you a list. I think it's 50 plus different ways to find business. And I'm not going to break them down. Go Google, go search YouTube. You'll find tons of trainers. You'll find tons of guides. Go to a seminar, ask your broker, just find the information you need to figure out how to do these different things. But I'm just going to give you a list right now, and I'll throw a couple pointers in here and there. But for the most part, I just need new real estate agents, new salespeople, new business owners to understand when they're thinking about giving up, when they think they've done all that they could, you probably haven't. There are just so many ways to go find business. And in our industry, you know, it might be different if, say, you're a tattoo artist, right? Or you're, you know, even if you're a barber, right? You only have one, you know, gender that typically uses barbers, and then vice versa with hairdressers. I think more men go to hairdressers for haircuts than women go to barbers for haircuts. But still, you're getting into more niche. If you're a nail technician, if, you know, you're, I don't know, if you're even the financial service guys, like if you're selling IRAs or you know, life insurance, not everybody's in the market for that, right? But everyone needs a place to live. So as a real estate agent, once you get that license, every single person is a potential client. So how do we find them? I'm just going to go through a big list. I just sat down and brainstormed this. It's in no particular order because really what works for each person is different, right? So one of these things might be amazing for you, might be terrible for you, but try every single thing before you give up. And if you're out of the business in 3 months, I know you didn't try all these things. You might have tried all of them. Would you try it once, twice? You need to grab the bull by the horns on some of these things and lean into them for months and months and months and hours a day. Whatever you did, whatever you said it was enough and didn't work, don't give up. Do 10 times that. Do 10 times what you thought was enough, then go, all right, that's not working for me. A lot of people just give up too soon. So here we are. Here's my list. First one on my list, expired listings. What does that mean? So when you sign a listing contract, there's a termination date. There's an end date to the listing contract. A lot of agents will go to that seller and get them to renew, but a lot of them won't. And then it will show up on the MLS system as expired. If you're a licensed real estate agent, you have access to the MLS system, you already have these leads. These leads are right there. Now, you got to check them the day they happen. You can go back. If you go back to old expireds and see that they never sold again, you have an opportunity there. But the new expireds, you got to get to them very fast because everybody else is trying to get to them. 2 ways to get to them. I've had a lot of success, believe it or not, with writing letters. And you say, well, didn't you just tell me you have to be the first? If you call them, won't you be the first? That's true, but how many people don't pick up their phone? I mean, the cell phone era, you don't know the number, you're not picking it up, you know? So expired letters, I write a letter to the people. Eventually they call me. Sometimes they hold on to that letter for years. And then they're ready to sell. And they're like, oh yeah, this guy reached out, and you get a call. Now, the more efficient way to do it is calling. Calling, you can go find their phone number through free sources, but there's also tools like RedX and Vulcan that will give you those expired numbers. They're not always accurate. Most people aren't going to pick up the phone. You're going to leave voicemails. You can try texting them, but you know that person wanted to sell, right? They wanted to sell the house for one reason or another, and it didn't work. You get a hold of them, you figure out why it didn't work, and you get them to either you have a better strategy, right? Or you get them to accept the reality of their situation and change the strategy that the other agent wasn't able to get them to change, right? So sometimes it's they think their house is worth way too much. Sometimes they refuse to get the house ready to go on the market. Sometimes their expectations of what they were going to get after they sold were off. So, you know, there's a bunch of different reasons why listings expired and why these listings stay off the market sometimes, and why sometimes they come right back. And there's been time periods in real estate where the first agent usually wasn't the one to sell the property. That's not true in New Hampshire right now. But all I'm saying is there's opportunity there. And this is what I've done. This is one that's worked, and it's worked via the letters, and I've gotten appointments through the phone calls as well. But it takes a lot. I've sent out thousands of these letters. I've made thousands of phone calls. It takes a lot of effort. And I still didn't do enough of the phone calls, to be completely honest. So I just don't like doing it. But some people love it. Some people think it's a lot of fun. You can find videos on YouTube of people making these calls. You can see how they do them. You can learn from those. For sale by owner. Kind of the same thing. You know somebody wants to sell. For sale by owner listings sell at a much lower rate and a lower price than listings marketed by real estate agents. With those, you can do calls, you can do letters, and you can even stop by. A lot of these people are going to have open houses, or you find a buyer that you have in your wheelhouse and bring them to that open house or bring them to that listing and get to meet that seller. And maybe you have an opportunity to sell that house instead of them selling it themselves, because a lot of for sale by owner situations fail. And bring value to them. Don't just try to get them. Don't say, hey, list with me. Bring value to them. Try to educate them. Show them what they don't know. Show them the difference between financing, because when they get offers, they might accept an offer that has no chance of closing because they don't know about different financing programs. So a lot of opportunity with for sale by owners. Now, I mentioned expired and for sale by owner, and we listed letters and calls for both of them, right? That's 4 different ways to get business. Now, you can also pop by those expires. Well, I also said you could go to the open house for the FSBO. So actually, the for sale by owner and the expires is 5 different ways that I had covered already. But then you can also pop by the expired. You can go door knock. One time I went around, I found a huge list of expireds, the last 3 weeks, and the ones that hadn't been relisted. And I did CMAs, comparative market analysis, for every single one of those. And I drove to every house. I knocked on the door. I gave them that in person. I got nothing out of that. But had I done it for 6 straight months, I might have, Again, just keep doing it. I didn't keep doing that one. So it didn't work for me. Now, my favorite thing is social media. I don't know why it was the 3rd thing I wrote down, but my favorite thing is social media. And this is where there are so many opportunities. Just go scroll, go hashtag real estate, scroll and see how many different types of content, how many ways people are posting on social media, see what is getting lots of engagement. I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of stuff. There's Facebook, okay? Join Facebook groups. Make your post both, text, post videos, post pictures. There's a bunch of different ways to post on Facebook. Join a bunch of the local groups, especially your own town. Also, be mindful of all your friends. Read what they're posting. New baby, they might need a bigger house. Getting married, might need their first house. They just say they're moving. They're looking for a place, whatever. Jump in those comments. Same thing on groups. Jump in those groups. People are going to be asking about realtors. They're going to be asking real estate questions. Answer them. Be an expert. Be the expert for everybody. And be present and visible. Again, keep doing it for months. Don't go make like 4 posts or comment on 4 people's stuff and think you're going to get business. Keep going. Just keep going. LinkedIn, I don't use it a lot, but LinkedIn's, the same thing. TikTok's tough because your stuff gets pushed internationally, really. It doesn't have a great local foothold. But again, I've gotten leads there, Instagram, that's my favorite. I think Instagram is the age of the hot home buyers, right? Like, I was looking at it. Facebook's your baby boomers, your Gen X. Instagram is millennials. TikTok's Gen Z, right? Millennials are the biggest group of home buyers right now. So Instagram's the place to be in my mind. You have reels, you have posts. You can post videos as posts. You can post videos as reels. You have your stories. Stories are huge because people DM you on the stories, right? Things that people aren't comfortable saying publicly in the comments section, they're going to DM you about. Then you start getting into conversations. So I just post my day. I post in stories. I just post everything I'm doing. I go see something weird at a house. I post that. If I'm, writing letters to people, I post myself going to the mailbox. I mean, it can be the most boring shit ever. And I also do, just lifestyle stuff, just my regular life, because people want to know you. They want to know who you are. You're going to spend a lot of time together when you're a real estate agent or when somebody hires you as a real estate agent. They want to know who you are, and also if it's all real estate all the time, it's boring. People just start skipping your posts. You got to put stuff that keeps them interested. A picture of your kids or like a video from your vacation is way more interesting to most people than talking about the amount that you have to put down on a house, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're going through all these things. YouTube, not exactly social media, but there's both long form YouTube videos and there's shorts. You can take all the content that you're doing for TikTok, Instagram, all these other platforms, and you can post them on shorts. Most of these platforms also have DMs. So everybody that follows you or everybody that you follow, you can drop a DM to. And you can either be a salesperson and say, hey, is there any way I can help you? Is there any questions I can answer about real estate? Or you can just be a friend. You can just talk to people socially and they're going to remember what you do for a living. People don't really forget. Once you put enough of it out there, you don't really have to do a lot of real estate content anymore because, or whatever business. Also, this can go out to a lot of different businesses, but you don't have to put a bunch of real estate content on there, to keep them reminded. They're going to remember once you've done enough of it, and you're going to sprinkle it in every once in a while. They're going to be reminded, but I can tell you for sure the non-real estate content gets more attention. So worth doing a bit of non-real estate content, and then DMing people that are there, and then you don't have to talk about real estate because they know, because they've seen it, right? Some that I don't really use but are out there. There are options. Snap. If you're young enough, Snapchat I think is still big. I don't have a clue. I never really got into Snapchat. X, I've never been able to get traction on X or when it was Twitter, but some people are successful with that. There's some more obscure ones. Red Note's a Chinese one. I'll tell you, if you speak a different language, because I saw one guy on Red Note that was getting tons of attention, and I don't know what the hell he was even talking about because it was in a language I couldn't read. I assume it was Mandarin or Cantonese or something because it's the characters that I can't read. It's some sort of Asian language, and that's a Chinese app. So I'm thinking he's finding, I don't know for sure because I couldn't read it, but I think he's finding Chinese immigrants. He was a New Hampshire loan officer. And I think he's finding Chinese immigrants that speak the same language that he's able to speak, and he can help them out. He's found his niche there, Again, niche, find your niche. Blue Sky, hey, not my scene at all, but Truth Social, go for it. If that's yours, those are your people, go for it. Reddit, not really social media, but go on, find real estate groups, find your local groups. Or subreddits, not groups, right? But go to these subreddits that are local or they're real estate centric and just be the expert there, Podcasting, you don't have to do what I do. Now, right now, I'm just speaking to a single camera. This could be my phone. This is an Osmo. It's an older Osmo. My great producer, Nick Sands, has let me kind of permanently borrow this from him because he doesn't really use it. That's what I'm recording on now, but you could do it on your phone. You could do it on your computer with a headset. Anybody can do a podcast. I do mine professionally. It costs me a good amount of money to do it, but you can do a podcast very cheap. I used to do mine in my basement. I bought maybe $200 of equipment, and then I paid like $5 a month to have it hosted. So anybody can do a podcast. Don't sell yourself short of that. You can do it and just either highlight things around your area or be a real estate expert on your podcast. Whatever works. Just put stuff out there. That's all I'm getting at with all this social media and internet stuff. Put stuff out there. Just keep putting it out there. Don't stop ever, okay? Google Business. Make sure you have a Google Business profile. That's a place where people can read reviews. If somebody finds you through any of these other sources, they're going to Google your name. They're going to Google Joe Rogers, real estate agent, right? And they're going to, if nothing comes up, they're not going to think you really do this for a living. And if you're new, you haven't done it for a living yet, right? So get a Google Business profile up there. Get people to leave you reviews. It can be friends, family, whatever. But get some reviews up there. I haven't been great at this, but make sure to ask your clients after the transactions for reviews. I'm pretty bad at that one. I don't have a ton of reviews up there, but I have some. And when you Google my name, when you Google Alex LaChance real estate agent, there's pages and pages of results from all different sorts of platforms and websites. You'll find me on there. You'll know that I do real estate for a living. If I search your name and I can't find any history of you actually doing real estate or talking about real estate, I'm not going to use you, right? So do that. There's also on Google Business, there's ads. You can pay ads. You got to get verified. You got to get your profile verified. That can be a little bit of a convoluted process. It's been a while since I did that. But do some research, find out how to do it, get your profile verified, then you can run ads that'll make you, when people search for a realtor, you'll show up towards the top. And if they click you, they call you, you're going to get charged for it. But it's great because you only get charged when somebody actually calls you. It's a little pricey. It's more than you expect to get one phone call, but it's worth it. I've gotten business that way. And you can also post all your social media content on your Google Business profile. People forget that. You can treat that like a social media profile. I don't do a great job with this. Another agent in my office, Amy Houston, just does amazing. She just treats it like another social media. She posts all her stuff there. She gets all kinds of calls from Google. So definitely do that. Geographic farming. This can be expensive. You've got to go big volume with this. You need, studies have shown in this that you need to do at least 500 addresses. Ideal, I believe they say, is over 1,000. And you need to be mailing them twice a month. that's a lot of money, especially if you're having something professionally printed. It's a lot of money. But you can do this. I say too, like, I think it would work. I never did this because I didn't really live in a neighborhood per se. But if you live in when I started real estate anyway, I do now. But when I started real estate, I didn't. But if you live in like a neighborhood, just farm your neighborhood. I mean, these people see you coming and going every day. They see you walking your dog, walking around with your kids, whatever. Send them business cards with your name on it. Send them a letter once a month, whatever it is. Just, I mean, do it in some way so that they know who you are. I mean, I mean, a few blocks from me, a driveway that I used to wait with my kid in the bus for the bus in the morning. That house was going on the market and I didn't get it. And that's my fault because I have not done enough to let my neighborhood know that I'm a real estate agent. So don't let that be you. Wrap your car or put a door magnet on that says you're a real estate agent. You can do decals in the back window, stuff like that. I found that people would just call me complaining about my driving. So I stopped doing that. Open houses for other agents. Right? There's always nobody. If you've been in this business for more than 5 years, the last thing you want to do on a Saturday is work an open house. It used to be great. You used to get a lot of buyer clients, but buyers are so well educated now. They also sign agency agreements now because of the lawsuit last year. Very quickly, they're going to meet an agent as soon as an agent wants to show them something. Sorry, I thought something was in frame that it was. I had to look close at. Sorry, but as soon as it gets to a point where you don't want to do open houses anymore, and you're looking for other agents to do them, that's a great check. You might get 20 people come through the open house. If even one of those doesn't have an agent, that's prime time. That's a very good chance that you can get that. When I first started, I would get a new buyer out of about every open house I did. They wouldn't buy that house. Then I'd take them to buy another house. And I did that. I remember it was probably 6 or 7 open houses in a row where every time I got a new buyer, I shopped with them for a couple months and they bought a house with me. So it's a 2-for-1, right? These were my own listings. So I got the listing, I sold through the open house, and I got a new buyer. So work open houses for other people. It's also a great learning experience. You're going to build all these things that you can do for other agents or things that you say you think you're doing for free. You're learning from all of them. You're ingraining yourself in the business. You're getting better at talking about the business. You're getting more confident in being in the business, right? And then when you actually get a real lead, you're going to sound legit. You're going to sound professional. You're going to sound like you know what you're talking about. Even if you don't, you're going to sound like it because you've been practicing it through whatever means. Agents in neighboring states. This is one that people overlook a lot of time. Can you network? Especially where I am in southern New Hampshire, it's an hour to Massachusetts, it's 2 hours to Vermont, and I don't think I'm pointing in the right directions. I'm going to try this one. It's an hour to Maine, or about an hour and a half to Maine, to the Maine border, maybe a little less. Anyway, it's all besides the point. The actual distances don't matter. The fact is, people move across borders a lot. And 2 ways you can make money from that. If somebody's moving out of state here, know somebody in every area of the neighboring states. That way, when somebody's moving out of here, you're like, well, great, they called me about real estate. I'm not going to make any money. Yes, you are. You're going to call that agent that you know in another state, well, somebody that you know is good and can execute, and you're going to connect them, and they're going to pay you a referral fee. And then when they have a buyer moving here, if they know you, if you've networked well with them, made it obvious that you're their person, they're going to send you referrals. You're going to pay them 25% for it, but who cares? 75% is still better than zero. So network with other agents in other states. Also, other agents in your office. Other agents in your office that have been doing, find the person in your office that only does $3 million listings. I'll guarantee you they have 25 people a month that call them that want to do smaller business that they turn down. Because you don't get to that level without just massive, massive effort. So these people get leads in all the time that they're not taking. Be the person. Take their mobile home leads. Take their $100,000 piece of land in the middle of nowhere leads. Take all these leads from them and work them. Even if they go nowhere, working with them is value. Don't forget that. Never think anything in this business is a waste of your time. Just keep doing it. Just do the stuff so you can get better, you can get smarter, you can get more confident, you can sound better when you talk, okay? I'll keep reiterating that. Loan officers. Meet some loan officers. Now, don't meet the top producing, best loan officers that have 25 people on their team. Meet the other people starting out. Meet loan officers that are in their first year, but they're actually doing business. Meet them and show them what kind of value you're going to bring them. So often you see it's the loan officers chasing the agents, because most of the leads do originate with the agents. It's much harder for the loan officers to find people out in the world. But it can go both ways, and it can be mutually beneficial. As soon as you find somebody, network with them, get very close with them, find out how they can help you, but also help them. Start sending every pre-approval person to them. And you'll probably, one, you want to have somebody that's consistent that you work with, you can get used to. It's important. But two, once you've given them a bunch of referrals, you might be their go-to referral, and it can go back and forth forever. Again, you'll also learn. You learn from the loan officers if you make friends with them. To a lesser extent, title, insurance, home inspectors, you're rarely getting a referral out of there. But I've been using the same septic inspector for years. Just the other day, he asked me for my business card because his daughter is shopping, okay? So you can get business, but it's important to have these people. You're going to learn a lot from them. You're going to look more professional when you have somebody to refer your clients to when they need these things. So network with these people. It might not generate you business directly right away, but I'm 8 years in, I'm getting a referral from my septic inspector I don't know how long I've been using him, but I've been in my house here 4 years ago, and he was already a regular client when he inspected my septic here. So, but yeah, network with all these people. It's important. Referral companies. Some of these companies do different things, but what I'm talking about is companies that will give you leads. They have some sort of lead generation, typically online, and they're going to give you leads, and you're going to pay them a percentage of closing. Some of these companies are really pain in the ass to deal with, but when you're starting out, you got nothing. Deal with the pain in the ass. Deal with paying them. Sometimes it's 35 or 40%. It sucks, but again, 60% of something is still better than zero, okay? So, and again, I'm going to say it again, it's experience, it's learning, it's education, it's confidence building. So work with these people. Some examples, UpCity, Redfin. Now, we all know Redfin as a brokerage and a website, but Redfin gives out referrals. They generate a lot of leads from that website. They used to be a lot better than they were. They kicked me off because I stopped following their rules, and I got sick of dealing with it. But if you're a new agent, don't get sick of dealing with it. Just do it, okay? I made a lot of money with them, and sometimes I miss it, okay? UpNest is a great one. UpNest gets you a lot of listing leads, which is huge. There's not many places that you can get listing leads consistently. And then you got to work your own sphere of influence is what it's called. These are just people you already know. Are you being a secret agent? Don't be a secret agent. You need to let the people you know, one way or another, whether it's social media, whether it's, every time you see them, it's so easy everybody always asks, how's it going? So if you just got your real estate license, oh, good, I just got into real estate, right? Once they know you're in real estate, they're always asking, how's the market? What's going on? Be ready. Have an answer for how's the market. Know what the hell's going on out there. If you're new and you got nothing going on, take an hour every day and scroll through the MLS. See if, our price is dropping, is inventory growing, what kind of listings are selling fast, what kind of listings are selling slow, how fast are things selling, how many days on market, and all these things that you can kind of study when you have the free time to do it. But yeah, for your own personal sphere of influence, a few ways to get something out there with them is, send a letter to everybody just tell them, hey, just exciting news. I want to let all my friends know. No pressure at all, no hard feelings if you don't want to work with me, but I am in real estate. I would like to help you if I can. And then call them. You can call them. I know it sounds crazy, but pick up the phone and call them. You can send them text too. Send something of value. And one of the most popular things is like these magnetic sports schedules here in New England. People send out Red Sox schedules, Patriots schedules, Celtics schedules, whatever. Send these out at the beginning of those sports seasons. Send something of value. Or it can be notepads or even pens, keychains, something that just they might keep that says you're a real estate agent on it. Let's keep going. Circle prospecting. This one's a little bit more complicated, but this basically just means calling people in a certain area. Ricky Carruth is a guy that teaches this on social media. Look him up. Look up some of his older videos. Ricky's got a lot of other stuff, but go back 5-6 years. look at the stuff he was doing. And, he works in Alabama, and he works the beach in Alabama a lot. There's a lot of these condos. He'd find one condo that sold, hey, or I skipped some words there. You'd find one condo that sold, say it sold for like, $400,000, beachfront condo. And that building has 100, 200 units in it. You call every single unit and say, hey, did you see that unit ABC just sold for $400,000? You curious what yours might be worth, or you ever have any thoughts of selling, anything like that. And, a lot of people turn you down. And what he would do is he'd just get an email address from them if he could. If they weren't interested in anything, hey, do you have an agent that you work with? No? Mind if I grab an email address so we can stay in touch? You get an email address and you do a weekly mailing to every single one of those people. He built a giant database and made consistent sales just off doing a weekly email after years and years of calling like that. I don't like doing it. I don't do it, but it's something out there. You can manually do this. You can go find phone numbers from free sources online, but I talked about it earlier, but there's Vulcan 7 and there's RedX. These are both databases that, you can pick an area, you can pick a geographic area, or you can pick a building in that case, and you can get all the phone numbers. They're not always accurate again. They also have auto dialers, which if you use an auto dialer, you can call so many more people. This stuff's not free, so you might want to manually go find numbers in the beginning and find 100 numbers one day and then go call them the next day. Craigslist, believe it or not, I don't know how good it is now. It's been a long time. But I used to just, and this leads me to my next thing, but I used to just post my brokerages listings on Craigslist. I would just post whatever listings that were in our office. My broker was completely A-okay, share all my listings, piggyback off my stuff. That's how it should be. You should always want to collaborate with other agents. You should always be down with other agents selling, pushing your listings, because at the end of the day, your job is to sell that house. It's not to make a commission yourself. It's to sell that house, okay? So share your listings, share the wealth, work together, get things sold. But to that point, go around your office. Go talk to all the other agents in your office that have regular listings and say, can I market your listing? And then that gives you, back to the social media, that gives you all kinds of social media content, blast it all over the place. Maybe they'll go let you shoot a video of it. You can walk around the house, give a tour, Door knocking. Some people think this is crazy. It's obviously a hit or miss situation. Don't take my word for it. Ask people in your area if they do it. See if it's a good or bad idea in the area that you're working in. I do worry that some people may be a little hostile now with door knocking. I see it on the local Facebook group here, where there's a pest control company that goes around door knocking, and people get so mad about it. But either they get mad at you for knocking on their door, or they never meet you anyway, right? So you can have people get mad at you. If the door knocking's a little too much, get the door hangers and take that something of value, that sports schedule, that keychain, a flyer, a letter, a business card, stuff in this little hanger. They make these hanger bags, hang it on their doorknob, hang it on their mailbox post, and get your information out that way in that neighborhood. There's paid leads. I don't really recommend these for a new agent starting out unless you really have a big savings that you're ready to invest in the business and you're comfortable with potentially losing it. But you can pay Zillow, you can pay Realtor.com for leads. You can host home buyer seminars. A lot of you'd be surprised. A Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, maybe not Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, maybe Monday. A lot of these bars have empty spaces. They have empty rooms that are made for entertaining. And they'll let you just to bring in a crowd. They'll let you host something in there. Get a lender, get an insurance person, get a title person, get a home inspector, get a bunch of different people, do a home buyer seminar. Each person presents for like 10 minutes about all the things you need to know about buying and selling a house or selling a house. You can do a seller seminar as well. But everybody talks about, their individual thing. And then, you can take some questions. You invite people to stay around and mingle. You buy everybody drinks, give everybody 2 drink tickets when they walk in. I mean, you can do one of these for like 30 people. It costs you maybe $1,000, but you split that between all the other people. It's relatively cheap. And you can get a lot of leads that way, and you can show them your expertise. You're pitching, you're doing a presentation to a bunch of people at once, which is huge, because normally it's one at a time, either on the phone or you go meet them somewhere. Go around your city or town, find all the cork boards in all these restaurants, hang some business cards up. Look at those business cards too, and you can find other people to network with. I get a lot of referrals from my financial advisor. We've done a lot of business with him personally too, but he sends a lot of people my way. Go meet some financial advisors. They're smart people. They know if they just always sell to people, that people aren't going to trust them. And if they're telling people not to buy a house and just dump their money only into investment products, they're not going to look right, So they'll refer agents. So when people get to a certain level of wealth, they're like, hey, maybe you should buy a piece of real estate. Maybe you should start investing in real estate. So they can be great referral partners as well. And again, you can send people to them, and then they'll reciprocate, right? Where did I stop here? Oh, one last one. Internal referrals. I was talking about that earlier. I just piggybacked on something else. But again, don't give up. Whatever you do, if you think you've done enough of it, do 10 times more. When you've done 10 times more after you think you've done enough, maybe you did enough. But also remember there's a skill issue involved in all these things. You do need to learn the right ways to do all these things. You need to learn the business. You need to learn the terminology. You need to know the market, because all of these things lead to conversations. And if you can't hold the conversation, what's the point, right? So I hope that helps somebody, and I think it's all valuable information. My brokerage does this every year. We sit down together as a team and we go through every single way in much more detail and in depth and discuss them. But we do it every year and go through every way there is to generate business, because as agents, we forget. Sometimes we're like, I'm doing all I can do. And it's never the case. It's never true. There's always more you can do. There's always another step you can take. There's always another level you can push it. So at the end of the day, just don't give up. Don't give up and do 10 times more. Okay? That's it. This is a filler episode of LaChance Encounters. I hope those of you that did watch it, which I know it's not going to be many, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps. And we'll see you next time.